Well, if you couldn't tell by my t-shirt or like the name of this video, I'm going to be talking about all the Scream movies. Hi everyone, my name is Charles, and today on my channel I'm going to be ranking all 5 Scream movies. And yes, I have seen all 5 Scream movies. I was going to review Scream 5, but once again, I was way too busy with work, and also I'm just way too much into playing video games right now, mainly Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm trying to get my village to look the way I want it to look and get all the villagers I want, so that's very time consuming, plus work, plus exercising, so I haven't been able to make as many videos, but I did see Scream 5, so I'm just gonna talk about my thoughts on that movie when I get to it in this ranking. The Scream movies have always been a horror franchise that I have loved very near and dear to my heart. I don't think there is one bad Scream movie. There are ones that are lesser than others, but they are all good in my opinion. And going into Scream 5, I was very hesitant because I was like, the trailers don't look so good for this. But you know what? I was pleasantly surprised with what it, served. So we'll get to all that when I get to that movie in my listing. But for now, let's get started with this whole ranking of all 5 Scream movies now. So at number 5, I have to put obviously Scream 3, and I don't really think there are any arguments that this is the not best Scream movie. It's not a bad movie, it's just the weakest of all 5 Scream movies. The only saving grace really of this movie is Parker Posey. Parker Posey for the win. She should have survived. Very sad she didn't survive. Do I really remember enough of Scream 3? Not really, because it was just not that memorable other than Parker Posey. And also, Courtney Cox's bangs. Those are very memorable in a bad way, but memorable they are. So those 2 elements of the movie really stuck out to me. The villain, he stuck out to me because I know the actor like very well from the TV show I watched him in, so I was like, oh, it's you. So I remember who the killer is in Scream 3. But for the most part, Scream 3 is, it's okay, as I said, it's okay. Carrie Fisher, like cameo, cute. That's why I'm like, there are cute moments in Scream 3, but overall it is the weakest Scream movie. I'm pretty sure at one point Parker Posey jumps into the arms of like a security officer, and I was like, girl, you better work. You know what movie you're in. Like, I don't know. I think Scream 3 took itself a little too seriously at times, but Parker Posey knew that it's just fun, it's whatever, and they need to go with the flow. So that's why I'm like, Scream 3, it just felt a little uneven at times. So that's why it has to be at the bottom. But once again, it's an okay movie. It's not bad, but it's just not the best out of the 5. Moving on to number 4 on the list, that would have to be Scream 4. And I really hate that I had to put Scream 4 this low, but it just does not compare to the other Scream movies that are left. So here it is at number 4. But you really gotta give props to Scream 4 because Scream 4 did that. Emma Roberts and Hayden Panettiere did that in the movie. Their performances are great, particularly Hayden Panettiere. Hayden Panettiere, oh my god, the monologue she gives, like toward the end of the movie, ooh, chills. Every time I see it, I'm like, her delivery of that monologue where she's listing movies, it is Academy Award Best Supporting Actress nomination worthy. The delivery where she goes, "The hills have eyes," and I'm like, who would have thought to like instead of saying the hills have eyes, like to just break because she's like losing focus and super like scared and all that. Oof. The acting Hayden Panettiere was doing in Scream 4. Scream 4 really nailed the head with, what was going to happen with social media and how everyone has a phone now, so everyone can be like a director. And look at it now. Look at the current landscape now. I thought YouTubing was already like at that point, but who knew TikTok would take it even further into an even more insane place? Like, I don't use TikTok, but a lot of crazy stuff is going on there. I mean, good for people who are getting deals and all that, but at the same time, I'm like, some of y'all seem crazy on TikTok. Some of y'all seem crazy and are doing things to like get noticed. And I'm like, ooh, this platform looks kind of toxic in my opinion. It's like, I'm very behind on Twitter because of like, as I said, I'm playing video games right now, so my mind's not on like looking at my phone. But like, there's been like drama going on because like something that was going on TikTok that spread onto Twitter that people were talking about, and I was like, I don't really understand this discourse that's going on, but I don't want to be a part of it, so I'm just gonna ignore. But yeah, Scream 4, it really hit the nail on the head when it came to talking about like social media and like camera phones and all that and what it would do to our society and to people's minds. Seriously, Scream 4, put some respect on it because it does not deserve like the feeling people give it, because it's actually a pretty great movie. It's a pretty great movie, and I just think people should give it more of a shot because it's a better movie than people, as I said, give it credit for. Okay, at number 3 on my list, I have Scream 2. And I know a lot of people have Scream 2 as their number 1, but I just don't think that Scream 2 surpasses or even meets the first Scream. And when it comes to the newest Scream movie, I think that movie just did a really good job of like piggybacking off of where Scream 4 left off and, you know, incorporating a lot of good stuff from the first Scream movie. So I just think that's the newest Scream has a bit more of an edge to Scream 2. But Scream 2 is still an amazing movie, but I had to put it number 3. Scream 2 has the highest Rotten Tomato score out of any of the Scream movies, and for a lot of people that's the reason why it's the best one. But personally, I don't know. There's just something about it that I'm just not, that just doesn't click with me when I watch it. I mean, it has a great cast. Like, there are so many people in this movie. Sarah Michelle Gellar's in this movie. Timothy Olyphant's in this movie. Jada Pinkett Smith is in this movie. Heather Graham's in this movie. So many people are in this movie. Laurie Metcalf's in this movie. So many people are in this movie. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, something about it just never clicks with me when I watch it. I give it like a 4 stars out of 5. But I don't know. It just doesn't excite me the way the other 2 Scream movies that are left on the list do. I don't know. They had a whole conversation about sequels in Scream 2. And my mom was like, y'all trying to be better than like the original. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like we're not really breaking any new ground. So I just have to put it at 3 because I just think that the original Scream movie and the new Scream movie do things that this movie doesn't do. Yeah. Courtney Cox's hair in this movie was really a choice. It was a short bob with red highlights. It wasn't bad, but I was like, a choice girly. And going from this hairstyle into like the Scream 3 hairstyle of the long hair but with baby bangs, ooh, my girl Gail Weathers was down. She was down bad, you guys. Okay, now we've reached number 2 on the list, which would have to be Scream 2022. And I like how they make a joke about the title of that movie in its own movie. Like, it's stupid, and they acknowledge it's stupid. And I'm like, I don't know if that, like, gets them off the hook for that, but at least they acknowledge it, and it's like, we're making fun of ourselves too. Maybe it's because I had such a low expectation of Scream 5 going into it, but there were just so many twists and turns and subversions going on in the movie that I was like, okay, you guys like maybe lowballed it with these trailers. That way my expectations would be low. But a lot of the things that were going on in Scream 5 really like clicked with me. The way they showed the violence, like none of the other Scream movies show the violence that goes on with stabbing like this movie does. Like this movie said, oh, y'all want to see how stabbing hurts? We'll show you how stabbing hurts. And I felt every single stab in this movie. I was like, ooh, I'd rather be shot with a gun than be stabbed because stabbing looks very, very much more painful. And the cast for this movie was excellent, and I like how, you know, Jasmine Savoy Brown's character, Mindy, introduces the idea of a requel, like a sequel and a remake combined. That way it's successful. I just thought that this movie had a lot of good commentary on horror movies today about toxic fandom, and yeah, I thought it was just a visceral speech classes, Charles. Speech classes. You gotta work on those R's. But yeah, I thought this movie was a visceral movie, and I don't know. I just think that it was an amazing movie on my first watch. The only thing I really was not feeling was the main actress in the new Scream movie. I don't remember her name, but she's also in the Heights movie, and I thought she was more like, you know, poppin' in that movie than she was here. In this movie, I just don't think she really popped at all. I don't think it's the character, I think it's just her, because the character that she had was very interesting, but her acting was just not on par to bring it to life. So she was a weak point in the movie, but legit everyone else in the movie was serving. I love Mason Gooding. He was very hot, very himbo. I love Dylan Minnette, Mr. Big Head. That's why I call him in my mind, because he has a huge head. It's like very huge, but love him all the same. Like, love me some Dylan Minnette. But like, yeah, very good cast. But yeah, the main actress, girl, you need some work. You need some work, and someone should have told you. If you haven't seen the new Scream movie in theaters yet, go see it because it's still playing, and, you know, support it because I know it's a blockbuster franchise movie still, but, you know, it needs your support because Scream 4 like didn't do that much money. So let's just give Scream, the new Scream, more money because I don't think we need a sequel, but I'm just like, can we just shower this with love? Please, people, please, because it's getting very tiring to see that the only like movie franchise that people are willing to go to the theaters and spend money on is Marvel. It's getting very tiring and very sad and very depressing to see. So that brings us to the number one movie on this list, which would have to obviously be the original Scream. And I love this movie for so many reasons, but one of the reasons I really love it is because it came out the year I was born. I was born 3 days after this movie came out. So, did it come out on Christmas? Okay, maybe it came out on the 20th of December. But anyway, it like basically came out in December, the year I was born. So, I just love it so much for that reason because it's like my movie. It's like my birth movie, basically. Nothing will ever surpass the first like 10 minutes of this movie where you think the main character of the movie is Drew Barrymore because of the advertising and all that, and you start the movie off with her, and then they kill her. One of the biggest stars of the 90s. You just off her in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then you introduce a new character in the movie to be the lead. That's some La Ventura shit. That's honestly crazy. Nothing will ever replace that moment. Nothing. The cast of this movie is all serving. They are all going on full throttle, and this movie changed the landscape for, horror movies in general, in my opinion. The meta-ness of this movie made, people have to analyze their own horror movies and, like, change things up because this movie basically obscured horror movies up to that point. And I really love how this movie inspired like Scary Movie, which was originally the title of this movie. Imagine if the Scream franchise was actually the Scary Movie franchise. If they stuck with the name Scary Movie, ooh, don't know where that would have led us, but interesting thought. But anyway, very grateful for Scream for creating Scary Movie because then we wouldn't have Anna Faris and Regina Hall. So once again, Scream doing the work of giving us everything we want and more. Seriously, Scream did so much for caller ID. Oh my god, like, there are not many movies that make a cultural impact so big as Scream did. I mean, Scream legit made people go get caller ID because they were like, oh, someone might try to kill you, and maybe if we know who's calling, we can stop that from happening. So, once again, movies that make a cultural shift, not many that happen, and Scream was one of the movies that did that. There's really no bad part of Scream. Everything in Scream is flawless, and the ending especially, ooh, they really brought it with the ending. Because at that point, I really don't think that any horror movie was doing it like Scream was. I think that the closest thing that was doing it like Scream was A New Nightmare, the Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but that was also Wes Craven. So once again, we gotta give it up to Wes Craven because his career in horror movies really was doing the work, and without him, we wouldn't have the cultural like landmark movies and changes in the horror genre that we do have now. So once again, good for Wes Craven. R.I.P. He's a legend. And once again, go watch Scream 4 because that's his last movie and it deserves to be seen. I recently saw his weird little anomaly movie, Music of the Heart with Meryl Streep and Angela Bassett, and that movie was actually pretty good. I would not tell that that was a Wes Craven movie directed by, but you know what? It is, and it's actually a good movie. So once again, let's honor Wes Craven. He's a great filmmaker, and maybe go see some of his deep cuts like Music of the Heart because even though it's not like horror, it's still a pretty good movie. But yeah. Anyways, you guys, that was my whole ranking of all 5 Scream movies, and for the most part, I think that my ranking is pretty solid. It's pretty solid. I don't think most people can knock it other than where Scream 2 is in the placement. But tell me down below in the comments what you guys thought about my ranking. Be nice and tell me what your ranking is. Because for the most part, as I said, I'm pretty sure that most people would agree with my ranking, other than where 2 falls in on the list. Also, tell me down below in the comments what your scariest, like, slasher horror movie villain is. Because I really do think that Ghostface or Freddy Krueger, those are the 2 like horror movie people that I'm scared of you people because they fuck with their victims before they start attacking them and killing them. And also, they're using razors. Like, he's using a knife, Ghostface. He's using a knife. Look, a knife. And, like, Freddy Krueger is using, like, knife hands, basically. Razor hands. So, I'm scared of those 2 because they will make you like super scared first and then be like, okay, time to die. And it's like, no, but seriously, all the other people in horror movies like Jason Voorhees or like Michael Myers, I'm like, Michael, I know he's using knives too, but he's using other things. And also, he has no flair. He just goes to kill you. So it's like, like he's gonna kill me. But with these people, they're like, we're gonna play around with you first, and then we're gonna kill you. And I'm like, that's even scarier. That's even scarier when they have time to do that. Also, a quick little plug-in. If you like hearing what I have to say about movies, either subscribe to this channel because I talk about movies on here, or follow me on Letterboxd. The description will have the link below, or whatever people say. The link will be in the description below. That's the right phrasing. But yeah, I'm always on Letterboxd. Like, when I'm not able to make videos, I'm always logging like at least one movie a day on Letterboxd. So if you are interested in hearing what I say or what I watch usually, then follow me on Letterboxd because I'm always on there. And with that, thank you guys for coming to my channel and watching this whole ranking video. And yeah, I'll see you guys around in the next video if you're around for that. So until then, I'm gonna go now. So yes. Okay. Bye.